On YouTube, STIPE here today, and today I'm doing a video on a 2019 SRT Grand Cherokee. So I apologize that I haven't been doing videos recently. It's been so damn cold here. We actually just got some mild weather finally up here in the great Canada, and it is a lot nicer now. And yesterday I was actually in just a sweater and pants. It was nice. I didn't have to wear a jacket or a hat, which was nice, but today it kind of got a little bit chillier, but it's okay. I'm here with another video, and today it's a full review and kind of some of the differences in 2019 on the SRT Grand Cherokee. Now, there's not a whole lot different. There's almost pretty much not anything different, and I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons to the SRT Grand Cherokee as well. Some of the things that I have highlighted in previous videos that I'm going to go over in this video. Now, I may miss some pros just due to the fact that I've done a full review on a 2017 SRT Grand Cherokee, and I can guarantee you there's not a whole lot different from that one to this one, so you might not be missing a whole lot when it comes to that. Now, there are definitely some differences, and we're going to get right into that in just a second. Starting off from the outside, there's obviously nothing that's different. The rims are still the same rims that were optional in 2018. Obviously, the Brembos are the same, and you do get 6-piston Brembos on the front, and you get these nice 4-piston Brembos on the back. And in my opinion, this Brembo package is actually, out of all of the Chrysler product, it looks the best. I actually like the way these Brembos look over pretty much any of our other vehicles. The SRT Hellcat is probably a competitor to it. I'm not crazy about the Trackhawk ones. Not really that I don't like yellow brakes. I just don't like the tone of yellow that the Trackhawk has. When you look at them close up, it's a little bit odd, that yellow. It almost looks like a matte yellow, but it's not, and it's almost like not enough gloss to it. It's like a semi-gloss yellow. Just kind of my personal opinion on that. And now when we come around back here, again, pretty much the same, the SRT badge there. I apologize for the vehicle being so dirty. It did literally just come off the truck about 20 minutes ago. And so when we're talking about this vehicle, I'm going to start off with a con here, because a lot of people think, something happens, and when you are buying these vehicles, you obviously want them to be pretty perfect. But coming straight off a truck literally 20 minutes ago, and I'm not lying to you about this, as you can see, the shrink wrap is still on it. And how you know that a dealership just got a vehicle in is if there are no center caps there, because the center cap has to be actually put on, the rim has to come off, and then the center cap goes in that way. You cannot just clip on the center cap just like this. So that's one of your first signs that this vehicle has just come in within the first few days. Now look at this. Now on the camera it might not look too bad, but that exhaust is actually kissing the plastic valance there on the back, the rear valance there, and here is how it is actually supposed to look. So that's obviously a factory just defect that happened there. Obviously they did not mount it correctly, and that is something we will have to fix. Unfortunately, it happens. I mean, I don't know why it happens, and it's, when you're buying a car brand new, you hope for things like that not to happen. As far as options go, you do have, I believe this does come with the Harman Kardon system. Yes, it does have the Harman Kardon system in it. And here are the floor mats, those center caps that I was talking to you about. And it does come with the Alcantara suede seats, as you can see. So the seats, again, nothing's changed, still says SRT as usual, and pretty much the same pattern of suede. Power seat adjustments are the same. Everything on the side here, control-wise, is the same, as you can see, Harman Kardon. So the Harman Kardon system in this car sounds incredible. I really like it. It's one of my favorite sounding stereos out of the Chrysler product. And sorry, again, it's dirty just because the factory dust and stuff. But this is generally the SRT steering wheel that you will always see. And the dash, I'm going to start it here. It sounds the same. There's no difference in sound, if that's what you're wondering. Paddle shifter is the same. Dash, and as far as the menu options go, This is one thing I love, and fuel low, that is why I actually had the vehicle off. But this is one thing that I love about Chrysler cars is this option. You can just, there's so many menus to scroll through. You can monitor just about everything on the car, and it's awesome because a lot of cars that you actually pay a lot more for don't have this, and that's what's great about it. You can time your reaction time, your 0 to 100, 0 to 160, and you know, your 60-foot time. There's just eighth mile, quarter mile. Yeah, it's really braking distance, and it just goes on. I'll just scroll here. I don't want to be talking through all of it, but as you can see, just about everything you can time. Top speed, so that's interesting. The top speed of 118 kilometers per hour before the vehicle comes in. Interesting. And the vehicle's only been here for a couple of seconds. Literally, I'm the first person to move the car, so I'm kind of surprised that there's anything even on here. Probably the factory forgot to delete when they're testing it. They do test it now. There's been a couple of questions about this that I've gotten, and I've actually questioned it to myself, is what is the actual testing process of what Chrysler does when these SRT vehicles are tested? Now, I don't know exactly. Now, what we are told is that they do get tested to the max to see what their potential is and to make sure that the vehicle is running correctly. Now, whether that's true, I don't know, but that's what we're told, and I believe it. Now, apparently they do clear that, but I don't know why I would say 118. That's kind of low for testing. I mean, I don't know, maybe it was just they were doing a highway test and that's as fast as it went. But unfortunately, I can't actually turn on the screen here because it's still in ship mode, and unfortunately I need to hook it up to one of my technician's computers to take it out. And again, it just came in and I haven't had time to do that. But if you look at the screen now, what's different in 2019, this is pretty much it, is this screen is actually different in 2019. Not what's on it necessarily, just this. It's actually flush now, as opposed to before it kind of indented into there. Now it is flush, which is really nice. It's a nice touch. It does give it just a overall cleaner look, which I am a huge fan of. As you can see here, still have your auto sport track and your snow and tow options as you always did, your launch control button, your driving modes, which would pull up SRT pages. I'm gonna just try and press to see if anything happens. Nothing happened, unfortunately. And your custom tune. So what that means by custom tune is just you can pretty much customize, okay, you want your steering to be comfort, but you want, you know, your engine and training to react like it is in sport. So you can do that. You want your suspension still to be, you know, soft and nice, so you just put it in street. And that's kind of the nice part about custom, is it's pretty much your custom tune, how you want this vehicle to daily drive. Now, if you were to put the engine in, as your custom tune in sport, obviously it will not shut down to eco mode, which is 4-cylinder mode in the SRT Grand Cherokees. And anything with a 392 will shut down to, with an automatic, will shut down to 4 cylinders. So that's one thing I really do like about these 6.4 liter Hemis, is I had one myself in my Scat Pack, so it was a Charger, so it was an automatic, and when it shut down to 4 cylinders, it saved a huge amount of gas mileage. People would be like, oh, that's a 6.4 liter. It's definitely a pig on gas. It's a V8 for sure. It's a pig. And I used to tell people what I got. I used to get about 13 liters per 100, 12 liters per 100, 14 liters per 100, and never really went past 15 liters per 100. Actually, I hardly ever saw 15 liters per 100, which is like, I think that's around anywhere from 19 to 15 miles per gallon I was getting, which isn't bad. I do a fair amount of both highway and city driving, and most of the time I'm in traffic anyway when I'm on the highway, because the greater Toronto area is just terrible for traffic. I think it's one of the worst places in the world now for traffic, and I wouldn't be surprised. But like I was saying, the vehicle overall, things that I've always liked about the SRT, I'm going to go over some pros here. I love the carbon fiber accents inside the vehicle. If you can see this, that's one thing that I always like that they've done, and they've done it for quite some time. The flush screen is a great touch. Now, another thing that I touched upon already is the options to customize your suspension, your engine, your tranny, steering, just about everything, paddle shifters. There's so much, how you want the car to respond, how you want it to react in turns, everything. It is incredibly in-depth, the SRT pages, and this is an all SRT product. That's why I'm a huge fan of SRT product, and I always will be, is just because of how cheap the vehicle is. And it's not cheap, don't get me wrong. It's still a lot of money, a SRT Grand Cherokee. It really is. But for what you get for that money is incredible. And I like also that, you know, it looks identical to a Trackhawk. Now, this is a negative for the Trackhawk, but for this is great because no one would really be able to tell the difference. And if you really talk to someone who wasn't a car person, you could be like, yeah, it's the Trackhawk. And they would have no idea because they do look very identical. Now, again, that's a negative for the Trackhawk, a positive for this car. Now, another thing that I really do like about it is the sound of this 392. It sounds incredible. A lot of the time performance SUVs lack sound, and this car is not shy of it. Now, the SRT Durango does sound better in my opinion, and it's got the same setup. Of course, just the exhaust system is different. But if you were to put an exhaust on this car, it sounds nuts. It sounds so much better than any other SUV V8 out there, in my opinion. And I might be a little biased because I love the 392, but I'm telling you right now that that's the occasion. And cons. So let's talk about some cons now about this vehicle. So like I said, defects from the factory like that happen all the time, especially with those fenders. The fender flares that you see, they look very flush. They almost look like they're part of the vehicle, but they're not. They're actually plastic fender flares, and the clips on them sometimes from the factory are always loose, and they kind of stick out sometimes. Now on this vehicle I saw that it was okay, but in this case the exhaust tip was off, which happens too a lot of the time. And it's just little things like that that drive me nuts because it's a brand new car. It just came off a truck. Why is this happening? Etc, etc. And a lot of people, if you're buying one, you're probably asking yourself the same thing as to why is it happening. Now, I don't know why it happens per se. I don't know exactly the whole situation and the whole scenario there. However, it happens, unfortunately, and that's that. Another con that I don't like is this car, all of the like carbon fiber that I showed you and on the screens here, and even this aluminum stuff, everything scratches so easily in this car. That's another thing. If you get the full leather package with the full leather doors and everything, it scratches. The leather scratches so simply. You get stuff dirty in this car. It's tough to clean. It's one thing about the suede too. It's a little bit tough to clean than the leather. I do like the suede though to sit on better. It's a little more comfortable than the leather. But that's one thing that I'm not a fan of in this car, is it is a pain to keep clean on the inside. Another thing, suede roof as well. Tough to keep clean. That's in all of them. Panel roof, that's one thing I forgot to touch upon here. I'm gonna open this so you guys can see. So panel roof, and that's the actual sunroof now opening. I'm gonna just open this part all the way back and close this because it is a little bit chilly. But yeah, so that opens all the way back, which is nice. And then you can close this and you have a full glass roof, which is nice, especially if you have kids. It's great. Another con that I have is for how big this SUV is. The way the space is utilized in it, for some reason it doesn't feel that spacious. And this is something that I always forgot to talk about on the SRT Grand Cherokee. I'm about 6'3", and I sit comfortably in the front. I do. I find it myself very comfortable in the front. In the back, though, the seats do recline, which is nice, but I find legroom, considering how big this SUV is, again, stuff that it compares to, I find other SUVs do have some more legroom. Now, there are SUVs that do have less legroom and that are bigger, so don't get me wrong, it's not that bad. But again, just space utilization, not the greatest. I find most American brands have a little bit of trouble doing this with every single car that they have. Space utilization, not the greatest. What's nice though is you've got these nice thick doors, so you do feel safe when you're sitting in it. You do feel like it's a very quality car, and you don't feel like, you know, if you got hit on the side, the door would just, you know, fall right off or anything like that, because there are some doors like that. That's one thing I don't like. I mean, just to throw a jab at an F-150. F-150s, to me, the door quality from what it used to be when you shut an F-150 door is like night and day. They're super thin now. You close them, they sound awkward. It's probably because of the aluminum doors. And you close a Silverado door or a Ram 1500 door, and it's night and day difference as far as that goes. And you can tell that it is just in a lot of the qualities too by just the plastic. That's one thing. Most of the plastics in this car are pretty solid. Nothing is really loose, which I like. That would be a pro. Con wise, not a whole lot other than that. I've talked about the 392 motor or the 6.4 liter motor. It is very reliable, and if you guys want, I'll put that video at the end of this one, and this way you can watch me go in depthly into the 392 motor. But I had one myself. I talked about how I had no problems with it, and most people who do take care and do the regular maintenance of these cars, you're not punching it and beating it up like crazy always, the car will treat you well. And that's my video for today, guys. Again, I want to also thank you guys for 3,000 subscribers. That's something that happened recently, so I do want to thank you guys for that. And as I always say, I'll be back with more videos. Thank you for watching. I'm going to try and post more videos from now on. It's just been, the weather's been terrible. I hope that it continues to be a little milder like this and not raining or snowing, because then I can show the vehicles. But as you can see, this vehicle is dirty as heck from salt, and it's just been a little bit tough as far as that goes. But thank you for watching again, and as I always say, I will be back with more videos. Thanks, guys.